Hello everyone. Welcome to animated video note series of all the commerce subjects created and owned by Manaswi Mehta, founder of businesslikenotes.com. For all the exam related notes and chapter highlights, you can visit our website businesslikenotes.com. So, let's begin. Today, we'll understand the concept of trade, its definition, different types of trade, and auxiliaries to trade. Trade is an essential part of commerce. So, what do you mean by trade? Trade refers to sale, transfer, or exchange of goods. It helps in making the goods produced available to consumers or end users. Nowadays, goods are produced on a large scale in a factory, and it is difficult for producers to themselves reach out to individual buyers for selling their products. Let's take the example of chocolates. If we want to buy a chocolate, we don't go to a chocolate factory. No, we usually go to a nearby candy shop or a grocery shop. So these candy shop owner or grocery shop owners are known as traders. So who are traders? Traders are the businessmen who are engaged in trading activities to make the goods available to consumers in different markets. From trading activities, we mean traders buy chocolates from the chocolate factory and then sell it to the end consumers. Traders can be wholesalers or retailers, which we will discuss in upcoming topics. So we can conclude that in the absence of trade, it would not be possible to undertake production activities on a large scale. Trade can be classified into two types: internal trade and external trade. Internal trade is also known as domestic or home trade, which is concerned with buying and selling of goods and services within the geographical boundaries of a country. Let's take the example of a trader who is performing his trading activities within India. That is, he is buying the products in India and selling the products in India only. So we can say he is doing internal trade. Internal trade can further classified into wholesale trade or retail trade. Wholesale trade refers when goods are purchased and sold in a large quantities, distributing to retailers. That is, wholesalers basically purchase the goods from the factory and distribute it to the retailers. Whereas retail trade refers to when the goods are purchased and sold in comparatively smaller quantities for final consumption. So retailers basically purchase from wholesaler and sell it to consumer. Let's understand this concept with a detailed example. Say there is a chocolate factory which manufactures or produces chocolates in a large or bulk quantities. Now there are two wholesaler A and wholesaler B, who purchase the chocolates from chocolate factory in a large quantity for further distribution. So wholesaler A purchase from chocolate factory and then sell it to retailer C and retailer D in comparatively smaller quantities. Similarly, wholesaler B, who has also purchased chocolates from chocolate factory in a large quantity, sell his chocolates to retailer E and retailer F in a smaller quantities. So these retailers are basically the local shop owners who purchase the goods from wholesalers and then sell it to the end users or consumers for final consumption. So this is the usual process of how goods are delivered from factory to final consumers where wholesaler and retailers act as traders. But there is no hard and fast rule that this complete chain has to be followed. Sometimes retailer directly purchase from factory, or sometimes even customers can purchase from wholesalers depending upon the product and place. Let's come back to second type of trade, which is external or foreign trade. What does it mean? It refers to exchange of goods and services between persons or organizations operating in two or more countries. So basically, external trade is conducted all across the globe. There are two types of such trade. First, where the goods are purchased or produced in India, but these goods are sold outside India, then this trade is known as export trade, and the trader conducting such trade is known as exporter. The vice versa of this situation is where the goods are purchased from outside India and sold within India. It is known as import trade, and trader conducting such trade is known as importer. There is one more interesting type of trade known as entrepot trade. So what do you mean by this? It means when goods are imported for export to other countries. Let's understand this with the help of an example. There is a trader in India who is purchasing goods from Europe, that is importing the goods from Europe, and then once these goods arrive in India, he is not selling in India, but he is selling it to another country, say Australia. So such type of model is known as entrepot trade. Let's move on to our next topic, auxiliaries to trade. Auxiliaries means assistance. So those activities which are meant for assisting or facilitating trade are known as auxiliaries to trade. In fact, these activities support not only trade but also industry and hence the entire business activity. These business activities help in removing various hindrances which arise in connection with production and distribution of goods. Let's learn the different types of hindrances and how auxiliaries to trade helps in removing such hindrances. Say we have produced a large quantity of goods in our factory, but where do we store them? Such hindrances are solved through warehousing, which creates time utility by way of storage facilities. So we have produced goods in bulk quantity and we have stored these goods in warehouse. But how do we make sure that these goods are available to customers? So transport is the solution, where it facilitates movement of goods from one place to another. Let's take another example, that there is a fire in a factory or goods are stolen from warehouse. This is where insurance comes into place, which covers various kinds of business risks. When we start a business, we need funds for expansion of business, for purchase of machinery, raw materials. So, banking and finance is the solution for such type of hindrances, which provides financial assistance to manufacturers and traders. What if we launch a new product or an existing product with new features? How does the customer come to know about such product? Through advertising, which provides information to consumers. So let us learn about these auxiliaries to trade one by one, starting from transport and communication. Production of goods generally take place in particular locations. For example, in India, tea is mainly produced in Assam, cotton in Gujarat and Maharashtra, jute in West Bengal and Odisha, sugar in UP, Bihar and Maharashtra, and so on. Let's take the example of Assam tea, which is mainly produced in Assam, but it is distributed and consumed all over India. This is where transportation comes into place because these goods are required for consumption in different part of country. The obstacle of place is removed by transport through road, rail or coastal shipping. Transport facilitates movements of raw material to the place of production and the finished products from factory to the place of consumption. So basically through transportation we can solve two problems. First, the raw material are transferred to the factory site, and second, from factory site the finished product are transported to the consumer site. Along with the transport facility, there is also a need for communication facilities so that producers, traders and consumers may exchange information with one another. Thus, postal services and telephone facilities. Nowadays, most popular internet facilities may also be regarded as auxiliaries to business activities. Say for example, we need to place an order, or we need to file a customer complaint, or need to send a customer feedback. For all these we require communication. Thus, communication is also an auxiliary to trade. Next auxiliary to trade is banking and finance. Business activities cannot be undertaken unless funds are available. Now, why do we need funds? We need funds to acquire assets. Assets may be fixed assets like plant and machinery or current assets. For purchasing raw material or for meeting other expenses like rent, salary to employees, electricity, etc. Necessary funds can be obtained by businessmen from a bank. Thus, banking helps business activities to overcome the problem of finance. Let us understand how bank helps businessmen, traders, exporters and companies promoters. Starting with businessmen, commercial banks generally lend money by providing overdraft and cash credit facilities, loans and advances. Now, what is overdraft facility? It means that you will be enabled to withdraw more money from your bank account even if you don't have any account balance. Similarly, cash credit facilities refers to a short-term balance where you can withdraw money from bank account without keeping a credit balance. Traders. How bank help traders? Bank undertake collection of checks, remittance of funds to different places and discounting of bills on behalf of traders. How bank help exporters? In foreign trade, commercial bank help exporter in collecting money from importers. And to companies promoters, commercial bank help providing these companies to raise capital from public, that is through IPOs, which is known as initial public offering, where you bring your company's shares to the stock market. The next type of auxiliary to trade is insurance. Business involves various kind of risk. Thus, insurance provides protection in all such cases. Let's understand these cases. Factory building, machinery, furniture, etc. must be protected against fire, theft and other risks. Raw materials and goods held in transit or in stock are subject to the risk of loss or damage, say by the way of road accident or there is heavy rains. Then even the employees of the company are required to be protected against the risk of any accident or occupational hazard. On payment of a normal premium, the amount of loss or damage and compensation for injury, if any, can be recovered from the insurance company. Next type of auxiliary to trade is warehousing. Now we all know that in a factory, goods are produced in a large quantity. But these goods are not sold or consumed immediately after production. Or if they are consumed in smaller quantities. So, they are held in stock to make them available as and when required. Let's say in India, Amul factory is located in Anand, Gujarat. However, Amul products are consumed all over India. So, this factory produces in large quantities, but many of the Amul products like Amul chocolates have to be held in stock and they have to be delivered as and when they are required. This is where warehousing comes into place. Warehousing helps business firms to overcome the problems of storage and facilitates the availability of goods when required. A special arrangement must be made for the storage of goods to prevent loss or damage, that is through insurance. Now let's take the example of a toy factory which produces or manufactures toys in a large quantities. They store these produced goods in warehouse. And then from factory or warehouse, goods are distributed to toy shops but in a smaller quantity. The main reason to distribute the goods in a smaller quantity is to maintain the prices at a reasonable level through continuous supply of goods. Let's understand this with an example. Let's say if there is a shortage of goods, then the toy shop owners will have the chance to manipulate the price, and due to the lesser availability of goods, they will be charging extra from the customers. The next type of auxiliary to trade is advertising. Since most of the goods are manufactured and supplied in the market by the numerous firms, which can be big or small, it is not practically possible for producers and traders to contact each and every customer. Hence, advertising. Advertising is one of the most important methods of promoting the sale of products, particularly consumer goods like electronic and automobile goods, soaps, detergents, etc. Thus, for promoting sales, information about the goods and services available, their features, prices, etc. must reach the potential buyers. Also, there is a need to persuade the potential buyers about the usage, quality, competitive information about the goods and services. Hence, advertising helps in providing such information about the available product and services and thereby inducing customers to buy particular item. Thank you everyone for watching our video. If you are interested in online classes or career related guidance in commerce, you can write us on businesslikenotes@gmail.com. If you liked our video, please subscribe to our channel for more updates. Thank you.